Okay, the January 27, 2021 meeting of the Long Branch City Council will now come to order. Roll call.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Here.
Mrs. Wittes, Dr. Selly,
Here.
Mr. Vieira.
Here,
4 present, 1 absent.
we will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
States of America,
to
and
the republic
for
for
which
which
is
it stands, one nation,
nation,
under God,
Under God.
indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
I certify this meeting has been published in the newspaper and adequate and electronic notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and New Jersey Administrative Code Title 5, Chapter 39, Section 1.5, Notice of Remote Public Meetings as required by law.
Thank you. Reading the approval of the previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of January 13, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes, Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Vieira.
Yes.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
Consideration of ordinance, public hearing and final consideration. 1-21, ordinance amending chapter 325, section 26, schedule 2, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets. This ordinance was introduced on January 13, 2021. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone, and the representative will call you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ernest McNally, born at 301 2nd Avenue, live in Asbury Park at 400 Deal Lake Drive. City Council, Renon, would you do your synopsis for me, please? Because I think it's referring to prohibited parking. Either you're creating more or relieving some, or just if you would clarify.
It's prohibiting parking on the east side of Calvert Street for a stretch of about 200 feet. Because of the width of the street there, the residents are having trouble getting out of their driveways.
Also, it could be something that'll help the residents of Long Branch. Finally. Okay, great. I'm all for it. Usually, about this ordinance, and my comment is, usually when I'm on the receiving listening end, it's always taken away parking of residents and given it to bars and clubs and things that nobody really wants, but it's being jammed down our throat. And then with the overdensity of the condos, right, all the residents can't find parking for themselves. And, it's like everybody's getting squeezed out of the city except the billionaire developers. It's like, why don't they run the city? Why don't they take over? Let them control parking. They already do with lobbying. They get whatever they want. They want to build a high density on Ocean Boulevard, and they promise you a pool out in the swamp 6 miles from the ocean, and you go for it. And we all know the motivation for that. How's the parking going to be around there? You're going to prohibit parking around the mosquito swamp that you created as a give back.
Mr. McNally,
That's some public good.
Mr. McNally, please keep it on Calvert Avenue. This is not about the pool now.
I think he's done.
Yeah.
Well, President of the council, you're pretty good with that mute button.
Nobody.
How do I get to mute you? How do I get to mute you, Mr. Council President?
You don't.
I don't think
I'll have to
anybody
listen.
muted you, Mr. McNally. That's on your end. We don't have that. We don't have that. ability.
We have not muted you, Mr. McNally. You're still on.
Oh, okay. Well, it just told me I was muted. I had to press *6. But anyway, look, I digress. The fact that you're doing something finally for the homeowners in Asbury, I
We're in
congratulate
Long
you.
Branch,
And
Mr. Mignoli.
what?
This is Long
We're in
Branch, not
Long Branch,
What did I say?
Asbury.
Asbury.
Well, I'm actually from both, but Long Branch, the fact that you're doing something for the people in Long Branch, right, is amazing to me. I have to listen to 100 meetings before I see something pro homeowner, pro family, pro children, pro school, pro safety. And this sounds like it, so congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. McNolly. Anybody else, Will?
No other hands raised, sir.
With that, I need a motion to close.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is the third reading of ordinance -121, title ordinance amending chapter 325, section 26, schedule 2. Parking prohibited at all times on certain streets. I need a motion to adopt the third and final reading and advertise according to law.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes, Dr. Selly,
Abstain.
Mr. Viera.
Yes.
That's 3 ayes, 1 abstention, 1 absent.
Ordinance 2-21, ordinance granting a 5-year tax exemption to Laura Campbell for the for development project on the property located 78 Ocean Terrace and designated as block 301.3, lot 22.03. This ordinance was introduced on January 13th, 2021. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone, and the representative will call you on by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When you're called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
350, go ahead.
I can't believe it. I feel like this is such an intimate encounter here with the citizenry, me and you. I mean, where is everybody else? Anyway, Ernest McNolly, born 301 2nd Avenue, Long Branch. I own a home in Asbury Park, 400 Deal Lake Drive, Asbury Park. And I just came from an Asbury council meeting, so if by mistake I say Asbury, forgive me. I'm just a little worked up over the same problems in Asbury, in Long Branch, overdevelopment, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what's the synopsis on this one now? Something on Ocean Terrace? You're
Sure,
giving a
this is-
developer a 5-year abatement?
So this is part of the Matosa settlement. You may remember, Mr. McNolly, that goes back probably almost 10 years now, where the city settled a lawsuit with various property owners and agreed that if they developed their property in a certain time frame, that they would they'd be able to get 5-year tax abatements on the improvements. So this is just in keeping with that settlement agreement between the city and that group of property owners.
Oh, good. Are those property owners, are they like just regular people in Long Branch, or are they developers?
Having spoken to Ms. Campbell, I can assure you she is a regular person.
You know something? Yeah, we're off to a good start tonight. I'm really happy the way things are going for regular people in Long Branch. These are usually developer meetings. They're sickening, but this is great. Now we got parking for residents, and now we're going to give them some money back for improvements that they made, and they're not developers, and they're around Ocean Terrace. That's fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. McNolly. Anybody else, Will?
No, sir.
I need a motion to close.
So
So
moved.
move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is the third reading of ordinance -221, ordinance granting a 5-year tax exemption to Laura Campbell for the development project on property located on 78 Ocean Terrace, designated as block 301.3, lot 22.03. I need a motion to adopt on a third and final reading and advertise according to law.
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler. Mr. Dangler.
He's
uh,
on
you-
mute. You're muted, Bill.
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes, Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Viera.
Yes.
Passes 5 ayes, 1 absent.
Ordinance 3-21, an ordinance amending chapter 345 on the Code of the City of Long Branch, revising redevelopment regulations for the Transit Village District, TDV. This ordinance was introduced on January 13th, 2021. This ordinance requires notification of all property owners affected by the zoning changes. So therefore, the public hearing and final adoption will not be tabled. Will be tabled. I need a motion to table the public hearing of the final adoption.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Council President, just for the public's edification, there will, when it goes back on the agenda for a public hearing, there will also be a published notice in the newspaper, just like we did here, in addition to the individual notices sent to the affected property owners.
Thank you, Mr. Rayno.
You're welcome.
Ordinance for introduction. This is the first reading of ordinance 4-21, titled Ordinance Amending Chapter 300, entitled Subdivision of Land by amending Article 2, Stormwater Management of the Revised Code of the City of Long Branch. I need a motion to introduce on the first reading, advertise and post according to law, and set the public hearing for February 10th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes, Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Viera.
Yes.
That's 4 ayes, 1 absent.
Public participation for resolution and general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone, and a representative will call you by your last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
350, go ahead.
My goodness. Ernest McNolly, 301 Second Avenue, Bourne, property owner, 400 Deal Lake Drive, Asbury Park, New Jersey. Council Rayno, a synopsis.
There's no synopsis. This is the public participation, Mr.
You know what?
Speak on
I
whatever you
hope I don't lose this time. Because your council president confuses everybody, including himself. It's on the table, it's off the table.
Mr.
It's under
McNolly,
the table, it's over the
McNolly,
table.
He clearly said that this was the public participation, so I'm not really sure what you're confused about. So this is public participation. You're wasting your time.
Okay,
You might want
good.
to
Well,
talk.
you know, Mr. Rayno, do you ever stop talking? You
I
muted me
don't.
again.
Not
And you're
if that's
wasting
the
all my time. And this president makes mistakes all the time between closing
No, he
public
doesn't.
comment on
No, he
ordinances.
doesn't, Mr. McNolly.
Mr. McNolly.
As a matter of fact, you asked Mr. Rayno a question.
Mr. McNolly, we all make mistakes. We're all human. Go ahead, Mr. McNolly.
Council
It's your time.
President, you don't have to apologize. You don't have
You
to
know what, Mayor?
apologize.
After I find out the comments you make about me in public, I don't really want to hear from you anymore. How's that?
Please continue.
And what are you doing about
Mr.
this
McNolly.
fireman? What are you doing about this fireman who stole all this equipment, Todd Fighter? You're covering up for him. You got Josh Bard covering up. You got this new public safety director, George Jackson, covering up. This guy's been stealing equipment for years. He's a paid fireman in Long Branch, an FMBA member. Now you got Peter DeLisa, a troubled chief you just elected, and all this is getting covered up. What'd you do, send him to a funny farm in Florida? Charge this guy. Put it in the paper. You cover up. He's been stealing equipment for a generation. And I suspect all the firemen do. You got a rogue group in Long Branch. They do what they want. They mess up with elections. They get involved. They got Curley fired from those dumb things they hold on the beach with drunken firemen screaming obscenities in front of women and children. And who gets fired? John Curley. Yeah, that's the FMBA, those dumbbells. That's who's running Long Branch. Those dumb firemen and dumb police. What does this mayor and council do? Nothing. You got a useless prosecutor in Butler. You got an inexperienced judge you brought in from Asbury. Right? Nobody can get any justice in Long Branch. Look at me. Look at all the people that want to sue y'all. We can't even find a lawyer because everybody's afraid to represent anybody against Long Branch or Asbury because they'll never get jobs again. They'll never get set-aside work. You're running a scam show in these two cities with the prosecutor and the sheriff and the freeholders, especially Tom Arnone. When are you all going to get investigated? We need another bid rig too. Let's go. Because Long Branch skated out of the first one because of Christie, and John Kay. How come Long Branch people didn't go to jail like everybody else? No, you arrested all of Asbury, took all of our people, city manager, council, mayor. Why not in Long Branch? They took bribes too. Now, this fighter needs to be put in the paper. Then you got this teacher, right? Sex crimes, right? Little boys, pedophilia, right? Running around the Long Branch schools. You got reports from people that there's all kinds of stuff going on in the closed portions of the building with teenagers, drugs, sex. Then you got Frank Kavanaugh, a big shot in Long Branch, a coach, Little League, right? Sex crime, arrested, felonies. How come nothing gets on the prosecutor's Facebook page?
1 minute.
Mr. McNolly,
Why?
I
Why are you
believe
covering
that
up
teacher,
everything in Long Branch? I'll tell you
Mr.
why.
McNolly,
'Cause-
Mr.
know,
McNolly,
it's
I
1
believe
minute.
that teacher in Long Branch was charged.
Hey, listen,
He has
you be
not
quiet.
worked
I don't
for
want to
the-
talk to you. It's my time.
You don't tell me.
So
You don't tell me
this-
what to do, sir. You don't
I
have it
did
like
tell
that.
you. You just took my time.
You
Be
did. Well,
quiet.
I'm not listening. You brought it up. I'm answering you.
You know
That
what?
teacher
From
has
somebody who
has
doesn't
been
help with
charged.
discrimination in Long Branch, you shouldn't talk.
I am talking.
Why don't you help us with
I'm
all the
telling you-
discrimination, with that discriminating pool? You didn't help. You're
Yes, I
nothing
did.
but a
I don't
phony,
have-
sir.
It's not about the pool. Every time you come
Yeah,
on,
it
you
is
talk
about the pool.
this
It's about
teacher.
the pool
The
and not
teacher-
wanting
the
certain
teacher
communities
was
to be
released.
near the ocean
The
front.
teacher
And
no
you didn't
longer
help.
is no longer in the school system. None of Long Branch students were involved in it, and no
You know
one has
what?
been in
You
the
know what?
school
You don't know
once.
what you're talking about because there's more going
Yes,
on.
I do.
Yeah, no, you
Yes, I
don't.
do.
Oh,
That's
yeah, yes,
based
you
on
do.
you.
No, you don't. Let's go back and
That's what I
forth.
said.
Yes, no, you don't. Go ahead. Yes, I do.
Time's up.
I'm
All right,
done.
thank you, Mr. McNolly.
198, go ahead. You may have to dial *6 to unmute yourself.
Sorry, team man, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. First, I would like to start by saying I would be remiss if I didn't take note that 3 residents residing in the Elberon Estates section, those residents being Douglas Jamal, Charles Kushner, and Alex Adjmi, were recipients of full presidential pardons for a multitude of financial crimes and more against society. Perhaps the Long Branch Historical Museum and the Church of Seven Presidents, or whatever it's called now, the Church of the Presidents, since we've had 8 presidents visit Long Branch, perhaps that museum can commemorate the notoriety of these 3 individuals with a plaque. If not only in addition to their presidential pardons, the commemoration would also recognize the proximity of these 3 individual residences, not only to each other, but also their proximity to the Church of the Presidents. Again, unpleasant greetings from the city of Long Branch. I would like to give my sincerest congratulations and thanks to the Watchdog Group of the West End for their paramount concern for the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Long Branch and elsewhere. I'd like a 1-minute notification, please. On Monday, January 4th, the Watchdogs posted photos of the collapsed roof of the south building of Seaview Towers. The Watchdogs alerted the general public to the exposed airborne toxins resulting from the wind turbulence in the upper exposed structure. News 12 and others posted drone videos of the site that were further alarming. The city, having known the collapsed roof for close to 3 months, went into their cover the act mode within 24 hours of the photos being posted. The city did not fool anyone. The city attempted to plead that actions were being taken, basically procedural, to deal with the matter. How ironic that within 2 weeks of those watchdog photos, the city engineer determined the building has been found to be an imminent hazard and immediate demolition
Mr. Lepore,
is
Mr.
recommended.
Lepore, that's not correct. And that's not fair. The city had issued.
Please do not disturb me. You're
not fair.
disturbing me.
It's not
We
fair.
know the facts. You're not going to filibuster
No.
me. You're
Yeah,
not going to
you-
filibuster me, Raynon. Keep your
disclosed all
propaganda to yourself.
No,
I emphasize the word recommend and not required demolition.
in
The
all
fact
due respect,
is, the
Lepore,
residents of
it's
this
not
city
true.
and the public
Yeah,
in general
But the public
put
should know that it's just
at
not true.
risk. They were put at risk. I am now requesting Dennis Sherman of the Long Branch Condo Coalition and the Save Ocean Avenue Committee to start proceeding with class action lawsuit against the city of Long Branch on behalf of the condo members and those residents that used Ocean Avenue for the unnecessary and reckless exposure to toxins spewing out of that Seaview Towers.
That
for
should
3
not-
months.
By the way, it's not fair or true, and it's
Will
inappropriate.
you
to
shut
say
up,
stuff
Raynon?
like that.
Can we have
Raynon,
a-
shut up. It's
Mr.
my
Lepore,
time. This is my time. Now, excuse me, Council President.
We
Never
have to
before
keep-
has the speaker been interrupted like this. You're supposed to take control of the meeting, and
I
the
am.
speaker has the floor for 5 minutes. Not
but
the
show
unelected
everybody
councilman
respect.
Lou Raynon, and not the so-called city attorney Raynon.
But you
It's my
have to
5
be
minutes.
honest, Mr. Lepore. You
Who's
have
this
to be
talking?
honest.
Mr. Dishonest? John Pallone?
Yes.
The
you
biggest
have to be
joke in
honest,
Long
Mr.
Branch?
Lepore.
Listen, you lying, backstabbing. You are the most worthless, useless mayor we've ever had. And just to make it clear, today the state attorney general just received a criminal complaint against you, Pallone, and the city of Long Branch for recklessly endangering the people of this city for 3 months by knowing those toxins were spewing in the air. Let's hope, Pallone, you get it right between the eyes from the state attorney general, because you've been skating for far too long. What a hypocrite you are to the environmental organizations of this state and this country who claim to have affiliation with you. Those environmental organizations need a reality check. And you, Pallone, you danced with this for 10 and a half years.
5
You
minutes.
allowed Seaview Tower.
5
Thank you,
minutes.
Mr. Lepore.
Thank you.
Miss-
Mr. Raynon, could you
I was
correct
gonna ask,
Mr.
Or,
Lepore? please?
Council President, I just want to make it, in all due respect, it's just so inappropriate to come onto a meeting like this and just try to scare people by making stuff up. As the council president knows, because I've been briefing council every 2 weeks since
Yes.
November, we filed the appropriate notices. We took the action to get in we took the action to get into the building. We sent the city structural engineer in. We made a determination, all the while, by the way, taking every step along the way to protect the public health, safety, and welfare. There's nothing spewing out of the building. It's just, this is, it's so inappropriate to, like I said, to go on to dial into one of these calls and to say stuff that's, by the way, just to self-aggrandize yourself to say, well, somehow Mr. Lepore discovered that there was a hole in the roof in Seaview Towers, when in fact we had filed an unsafe structure violation against it. And we're the ones that provided the photographs of it to the Construction Board of Appeals. Mr. Laporte got those photos by an Oprah request. So it's just so funny that he comes on and he says, well, I discovered this, and isn't it wonderful that I did this? And now, I don't know, now he claims probably inappropriately that he's filed criminal charges. I'm not sure what that's all about, but it's what happens here. You try to do things the right way. The building's going to come down a lot faster than it would have if we had done nothing, obviously. And nobody's in danger. We certainly, once we realized what the structural integrity of the building was, blocked off the streets, which is what we're supposed to do, notify the adjoining property owners. It's just not appropriate for somebody to come on to one of these meetings and to dial in and say things like that and have that go and left unchallenged. It's not fair to the residents that live around those apartments for things like that to be said in a public meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Will, do we have anybody else?
No, sir.
All right, let's move on. Mr. Clerk, have you received any public comment by electronic mail or written letters?
No, I have not.
I need a motion to close the public participation portion of the meeting.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We can take the list
Aye.
of resolutions. We can take a list of resolutions as a consent agenda. I need a motion.
Moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes, Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Vieira.
Yes.
It's 4 ayes, 1 absent.
Applications. I need a mover to and a second to adopt the following application. Approval of the transit of the taxi medallion number 1 from Mohammed Afzal to Gurgbal Singh.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt.
Yes.
Mrs.
Yes.
Wittes, Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Vieira.
Yes.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
Miscellaneous business for the good of the order. Councilman Dangler?
Yes. On behalf of the Martin Luther King Guild, I believe on Saturday the 16th, we had our annual dinner, and it wasn't the normal way we go to Portuguese Club and break bread and get to talk to the residents and everyone throughout town. But we did do curbside. And so on behalf of the chairman and the vice chair, David A. Brown and Teresa Dangler, I would just like to, David G. Brown II and Teresa Dangler, I would just like to thank all of the residents for the support of the Martin Luther King Guild. Thank you very much. And we were one of the only organizations or Martin Luther King programs that was live on Monday. We still did carry out our monument service on Martin Luther King birthday on that Monday. And as per Congressman Pallone, he didn't know of any others, certainly not in his district. So we commend you for coming out in the cold and not thinking that it was a robbery, if you will, to give up a few minutes of your time to come out and support and keep Dr. King's dream alive. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Dangler. Councilwoman Vogt?
Oh, I just want to say that the level of disrespect at some of these meetings is an embarrassment and a disgrace.
We can't hear you, Anita.
I just want to say that the level of disrespect, particularly at this meeting, is an embarrassment and a disgrace all the way around. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilman Vogt. Councilwoman Selly?
Good evening. I only have my 3 famous words. Wear your mask, Pay attention to your social distancing. And good night.
Thank you, Councilman Sally. Mayor Palone?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to remind our residents that we have a COVID-19 page dedicated on our website that's updated frequently. I know there's a lot of questions being asked, so please go to longbranch.org to visit the page. You'll find current testing and vaccine information on the site. Regarding testing site, location and times are available on the Monmouth County Health Department webpage at visitmonmouth.com. Or for the testing site located here at the Bucky James Center in Long Branch, please check our website or social media frequently, as we have several dates posted and continue to be posted. The next testing date is at the Bucky James Center is February 2nd from 4 to 7 p.m. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be announcing more safe recreation and senior programs as we continue through these winter months. Our goal here is to keep our residents active while still complying with all COVID-19 safety regulations. The city, many of you received the city calendars. They were sent out last week. We hope you enjoy this year's calendar and use it for a garbage and recycling schedule as well as for other important dates here in the city. And lastly, I want to remind residents that many of you know we have a list of food pantries and kitchens on the announcement page of our website. Please consider donating to these pantries if you can. Again, if you want to, there's a lot of information on there as well. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a great week.
Thank you, Mayor Palone. And I got to agree with Councilwoman Vogt. Disrespect on this council meetings is not going to be, we do not allow that. I'm not going to allow it. Anybody that comes in and raises their voice at the council or the administration and comes in and tells people to shut up and stuff, that's not going to be permitted here. We all need an amount of respect. Respect yourself like you respect others like you want to be respected. So if I ask to be muted, we're going to ask to be mute to mute you. So totally respect this, everybody that's up here. And that's all I ask of everybody that calls. We are here to listen and we're here to act on what we listen on. So please respect everybody up here. Everybody deserves the respect. With that, I'd like to say good night. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Good night.
Good night.
8:04.